This is typically the part where I would give some speech or some analogy or some famous quote or whatever that would somehow relate to the review, or I'd do it just to be funny or try to sound smart or something like that, but I I got nothing. I have nothing to say in the prelude to this review aside of a big congratulations to Guerrilla Games for effectively smashing any hope the Killzone franchise had left. I haven't played Killzone Shadow Fall. And before you all crucify me, I don't need to. Guerrilla Games has pulled a historic first in my entire 20-plus years of gaming. Last September, I celebrated my 20th anniversary of gaming, just to let you know. They've pulled a historic first in the fact that I don't even need to play the game to make my final judgment on it. Now, why is that, you might ask? Well, those who have seen my Killzone 3 video obviously know that the main reason that I hate Killzone 3 with the burning intensity of 1,000 suns is because of how Guerrilla Games essentially fucked over not only the story of that game, but the entire continuity and lore of the fucking franchise. And this was due to multiple reasons, which I'm not going to recite again. Go watch the video if you want to know why. And I said at the end that with the series in its current state, that I seriously feared for the future of the franchise, and I was perfectly in the right to fear about the future of the franchise, because let's just say that every last ounce of hope I had of the story being even remotely salvaged was completely smashed in the first minute and 15 seconds. The opening cinematic destroyed any and all semblance of hope that I had for the franchise in general. Let's watch it, shall we?
The war between the Vectans and the Helghast ended in seconds. They call it the Terracide. 1 billion lives lost in the petricite fires that swept Helgen's surface, reducing it to nothing more than a lifeless rock. In the days that followed, an uneasy truce was negotiated and a settlement was reached. The survivors were to be given refuge on another world, Vecta, home of those responsible for Helgen's destruction. Half of the planet was given over to the survivors, and the Vectans that lived there were forced to leave. This was no longer their home. This was New Helgen.
Just in case some of you didn't exactly quite understand what was going on in that FMV or didn't get it at all, let me bring you up to speed a little bit. So, the ISA, through use of a not-so-cleverly placed Deus Ex Machina, and yes, I'm talking about the actual plot device, not the Machinima series, destroy the planet Helgen at the end of Killzone 3. The whole planet gone, smash, kaboom, goodbye. The Vectan government negotiates a truce with the Helghast, and gives the Helghast half of Vecta. They not only give them control of half of the planet that they tried taking by force in the first game, they also forcibly relocate the Vectans on that side of Vecta to the other side of the planet, and rename the half of Vecta that they gave the Helghast New Helgen. And not only that, just to sweeten the deal, the ISA also allowed the Helghast to keep their guns, their armor, their explosives, their starships, the whole fucking kit and caboodle that makes them a very real threat to the ISA and humanity as a whole. Does anybody see anything wrong with that? Anybody? You? 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 Anybody? Okay. Why, oh why would you do that? It's just... It's fried my fucking brain. Why would you just give your enemy half of the fucking planet just like that? What? Whose bright fucking idea? What genius sitting at a table that had his brain completely lobotomized to the point where it melted and seeped out through his fucking ears was put in charge of writing this fucking story? I mean, what Killzone 3 did. Okay, Killzone 3 was bad. It was fucking awful. It was like some sort of overly glorified fanfiction written by a fucking Star Wars fanatic. Yet it was treated as the sole primary canon of the Killzone story. What Guerrilla Games essentially did with the Killzone franchise, with 3, they essentially took the train, the almighty powerful train that was Killzone at the end of Killzone 2, ran it off a fucking cliff and blew it up. What they did with Killzone Shadow Fall is they took pretty much every single salvageable piece of that train and blew it up again. And again, and again, and again. Just... Okay, I'm cool, Why would you just do that? Just, I have nothing. I have fucking nothing, and you know what? I have looked through every fucking plot summary I could find on the internet for this fucking game to see if there was maybe some kind of ace the Helghast had up their sleeve, like they had a fucking Death Star, or even 10 Death Stars, or they had the Chimera backing them or something. Something that would scare the Vectan government enough into giving them half their planets. Did they have said ace up their sleeve? No, they didn't. The Vectans just gave them half the fucking planet for shits and giggles. And you know what? I don't care how the rest of the game is, okay? There are a few good pieces in this story, or I shouldn't say good, half decent. Visari's daughter becomes a central character, and so does his granddaughter, Echo. Echo is Visari's granddaughter. I hope you read the title, because that was a spoiler. Not that it's worth playing the fucking game to find out for. And there's also a lot of underlying traits of racism, hatred, and a very nihilistic view of war thrown into the story, which I did find interesting. But that's like picking a few pieces of fucking scrap out of something that just got turned into atomized bits. I don't give a fuck how good the rest of the game is. I don't give a fuck how good it looks, how good the gunplay is, how good the multiplayer is. Fuck the multiplayer with a goddamn meat hook and leave it to bleed dry. As a matter of fact, fuck the rest of this whole goddamn game. The train already got blown up, and what was still in decent functional condition got blown up. And what was still functional after that got blown up again, 10 times over. There's nothing left here. You know, Guerrilla Games, you said you wanted to, like, model it after the Cold War or something. You ask me, that was the wrong setting to do. What you should have done was modeled it after the War on Terror. Here, I'll write you a brand spanking new and much better story right here off the top of my head. So let's see here. Okay, so, you know, the planet gets blown up. Fine. There are obviously Helghast that were still in that space battle that have survived. The Vectan government could say, okay, you know what? We'll let you settle on Vecta. You got this one little patch of dirt right here where we can keep a close eye on you. You are going to give us your guns, your armor, everything, your starships, the whole kit and caboodle, everything that isn't, or everything that is combat related or could help you fight against us, you are giving it to us. And we're going to melt it down, turn it into scrap, and use it to build our own super fleet or whatever, you know? You're giving it all to us. They go there, and they're set up in this shanty little town where they're subjected to a heavy, brutal occupation, to the point where people on the outside, once they learn the truth, they actually start sympathizing with the Helghast. They're like, okay, you know what? You've been brutalizing these fuckers for 30 years now. They have paid their dues. It is time to let them go and live happy lives. They can come over here. We'll show them love and care and everything. You know what? A central character, the character you play as, is a Helghast. Let us play as Visari's granddaughter. Let us play as Echo, because that's what happens. It starts off like more than 30 years. You play as Echo, and there's this secret little society. They're like, you know what? We haven't forgotten what you've done. Yeah, you've been real good to us, but you're still going to pay because Vecta rightfully belongs to us. You threw us off in the first extrasolar war. This is our fucking planet, and we're going to take it back, but we can't fight you directly since, you know, we gave you all our guns and shit, and so we're going to use, like, improvised bombs and, you know, makeshift guns and even steal yours. And we're just going to do a bunch of guerrilla attacks. You know what? That right there would have been a fucking awesome way to conduct the story. Could have shown us from a completely different perspective, shown gamers the side of the war that they've never seen before. If they didn't read the backstory, would have given us a totally new perspective on Killzone in general, and it could have saved this doomed franchise. I cannot believe that I just made up a much better story right here off the top of my head in the span of, like, what is it, 1 minute, 2 minutes maybe? Well, there goes my primary reason to get the PS4 now. Amazing. All I had to do was watch the first fucking cutscene on YouTube, and that was it. And you know what, guys? I really don't care how good the rest of the game is. I don't fucking care. Just giving your enemy half the fucking planet and letting them keep all their guns and shit, that is gonna be the dumbest fucking writing I have ever seen. Don't get me wrong, Killzone has pulled its fair share of dumb plot ideas. I mean, we've seen numerous cases of plot convenience, Deus Ex Machina, but this is just pulling stuff out of thin fucking air. This stupid doesn't even fit it. Fucking retarded doesn't even fit it. It's dumbfounded me. I have nothing to say on this. I have seen terrible first-time fanfiction with better fucking plot cohesion, transition, and explanation than this. I got nothing. Killzone Shadow Fall sucks. If you care even remotely about the story, don't fucking buy it. Don't even play it. Unless you want to torture yourself. Knowing me, I probably will. Want a decent shooter? There's plenty of other shooters out there, especially on PS3. It's not worth it, kids. As of right now, and even 5 years from now, it will not be worth the money for that game unless you can get it for free, and even then someone should pay you to take it off their hands. But if you want to get a PS4 just for Killzone Shadow Fall, don't. Unless you are strictly a multiplayer guy, well, then you can pay $15 for it, it probably won't matter, but... Well, I guess I can add that one to the tally. Let's see, we got Tomb Raider, we got Resistance, we got Killzone. What else we got here? I can't fucking think of anything right now. Don't buy this game, please. Killzone Shadow Fall sucks.